Hey Aidan, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. So I'm pretty excited today because I've interviewed a lot of powerlifters, some from all sorts of different backgrounds. I got to interview a couple people in Olympic lifting. I've got to interview a person that does strongman competitions, and as a kid who watched Over the Top like 1,000 times, I'm super amped up to interview someone who competes in arm wrestling.
Over the Top is probably my favorite movie of all time.
Of course. I mean, I don't have to even ask you that one. How many times have you watched it?
Let's just say about 4 times this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like whenever I'm like it doesn't matter what I need to do. If I need to I need to write a paper, watch Over the Top, I get amped up. I can do anything. No, I love that movie though.
Yeah, Rocky used to be like that when I was a little kid. I used to watch Rocky all the time.
Yeah. I love all the 80s movies. Like any of the Rockies, Terminators, Predator, any of those 80s action movies, I love them.
You compete in powerlifting also, right?
Yes.
Well, which one did you get into first?
Arm wrestling.
So what year, how long ago, and what got you into it?
So the big thing with me in arm wrestling, right, is that so you know that kid in elementary school, middle school, and high school who just never lost arm wrestling?
Yeah.
I was that guy. And then I see a sign for some local tournament sign right there. It's like, oh yeah, everyone arm wrestle, right? And I was like, I'm gonna keep my undefeated streak. Woof, bam, smacked twice, right? But I met some guys who know how to actually arm wrestle because there's a secret technique to it.
Yeah.
Or it's not even a secret, just there's some techniques to it, right?
Well,
and there's a strength to it that people don't have, in the hand and the forearm, that people really forget about. So I learned how to actually arm wrestle. And then COVID hits. I haven't really done any tournaments since then, but plans to do one and be much better at competitive arm wrestling. Then arm wrestling is actually what got me to do a powerlifting meet because all I competed in was strict curl.
Yeah.
We were messing around after a bunch of arm wrestling. We were doing a strict curl, and so amongst powerlifters, right, I'm considered the arm wrestling guy.
Yeah.
Amongst arm wrestling, I'm considered the kind of the powerlifting guy.
Yeah.
Because I have that background of bench, squat. I do the big lifts a lot more than a lot of arm wrestlers do. Because this is really funny. So I know some arm wrestlers, right, who train. You see my hand? They train doing this.
Yeah.
With their hand. They train doing this with their hand, and they train doing this with their hand, and that's it.
Really?
They train rising, cupping, and pronation. And that's the only things they train.
Well, what big muscle? Well, that's what I don't understand about right in an arm wrestle. I can't even think about really what's the primary muscle there. I don't even know. The forearm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bicep plays a big role if you use it right.
Yeah.
The way you almost like score, you just do this.
Yeah.
That's all these little muscles in your internal rotators and this tendon, and that's how you end up actually getting hurt. Because you go
it seems like you get hurt.
Yeah, that's how you get that spiral fracture in your arm.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like a sport where you're even if you're as safe as possible, you're gonna get injured.
So I've never had an injury from arm wrestling, right? Some of that might be because the guys I've been doing it with when I was learning made a point of helping me stay safe. Because the big one is when you don't know how to arm wrestle, you might put yourself in an arm break position, right? But once you know how to arm wrestle and you stay tight and you do a good job of all that stuff, like you're not gonna break your arm because if I keep everything tight and when I arm wrestle I'm pulling, it's really hard to show this over Zoom.
No, I know. Well, you gotta get your arm. I can see your from
Yeah,
here.
right. So if I'm like arm wrestling, right, and I'm pulling like this, right?
Yeah.
You see how I'm not going like, because once you try to go like this way, like this,
Your body.
with your body turned, and then you try to just use your. That puts a lot of stress on your. But if I'm like this, and I'm top right, I'm like this. You see how there's no force in that direction now?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be a much better arm wrestler with a top row than you are going to be trying to go like this.
Listen, you're a lot bigger than me, so like when you're further away from the camera, everyone notices. So just stay close to the camera, so no one notices how
Oh yeah.
big you are than me. Thanks.
Now I'm gonna just sit back here and just continuously flex.
The strict curl, right? I love the strict curl.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Do you know my buddy Strict Curl Joe?
Yes. Yeah, I met Joe. I love Joe.
He's a good guy. I did a podcast with him. With the one before. Yeah, he's a good guy. And yeah, man, he's really a giant advocate for that sport, man. He's really good to spread it, and he's doing a good job because everybody knows him and everybody gets into it. And I don't know anyone that tries it and doesn't like it.
When I was like looking at doing a strict curl meet after like I kind of messed around with some arm wrestlers, right? I actually just DM'd him on Strict Curl Nation, right? And he was he's great.
Yeah.
He was so helpful and everything, and like I really think he's doing great. And like, because it's the type of thing where like you don't really know that powerlifting has like a strict curl option, like unless like you're into it, and like, but just such a fun lift. I think I want to see strict curl grow, like the same I want to see arm wrestling grow, like just because like it's a lift that like I just like doing. It's fun to do.
Yeah, I asked Joe the question. I said, "Well, do you consider yourself a power lifter, right? Because you don't do the squat, the bench, and the deadlift." And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "They're in powerlifting competitions. I go to powerlifting competition. You know." He's like, "I consider myself a powerlifter." I'm like, "Okay." I agree with you. I agree with him. I compete in all the other lifts, but the strict curl is my best lift.
Yeah.
But
see, if I didn't hurt my shoulder, like leading into my meet, I was gonna bench too because I have a pretty good bench, but my legs is where it falls down short.
Yeah. Well, this is where, right? I think you should do the full meet anyway, even if like you're not a great squatter, bencher, or deadlift. I've been doing this since 2001.
Yeah.
Like this in my head, the squat is the squat's the most important lift because it's the hardest and it's the scariest, and so I don't care if you only squat the bar. Like you gotta get the bar below parallel to meet, and now
Yeah.
But that's just me. Listen, if you don't want to do it, I'm okay with that now. A couple years ago, I wasn't in a place where I'd say like I'm okay with that. I would have been yelling and screaming, "You better squat."
So I can squat. Like I think I have like a 400 squat or something like that. My deadlift before I hurt my back was high. It was actually like really good at some in the 500s.
Yeah, that's a great deadlift, right?
Yeah, no, I was at one point legitimately all around strong. I hurt my back. I'm trying to get my squat and my deadlift back to being good again. Like I think I'm probably gonna do a full power meet at some point. Like try to like 1400-ish, something like that. But the sobering number for me right now, right, is my forearm and my calf are the same size.
Yeah, you have giant forearms. I don't know if your calves probably aren't small.
I mean, they're not big though.
Yeah.
But that's a funny.
Hey, calves are an interesting thing because without training, you could just look at like a group of like 20 people, girls and guys, and you're gonna see people with just some massive calves.
Like the 20-inch calf, yeah.
It's just
I have a friend like
a
that.
genetic thing. Like you don't see anybody with just genetically massive quads. You know?
Yeah, or like a massive arm. Like
Yeah.
it's only calves.
I don't understand how it's so weird with that. My wife has giant calves. I mean, my wife is a powerlifter. She's a great.
Yeah.
She weighs 103 pounds. She's weighing it right now. She's deadlifting 250.
Ooh,
Yeah.
damn, that's
Yeah. It
there's that Wilks score that I'm jealous of.
only like a lifter understands that, right? Because anyone else sees
Yeah.
50 pounds and they're like, that's not a lot of weight, but she weighs 103 pounds. It's crazy.
Yeah. What's that Wilks? That's like that's some.
She always wins best female.
Yeah, that's a crazy Wilks. That's like a Wilks I can't.
She every meet she goes to, I think only one time, I think she lost best female to like this girl Ellen Stein, who then I think got the trophy. She got disqualified from the meet because I think she tested positive for steroids. So,
Yeah.
but
Dude, you want something interesting about arm wrestling?
what's that?
There is like zero drug testing until you're in like the WAF.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It's just I don't know. I think a lot of it is because it's just like so much of arm wrestling, like it isn't as organized as powerlifting is, right? Like you know how powerlifting, like they have like the support to do like a drug testing thing?
Yeah.
Like low level arm wrestling, they just can't do it, right?
Yeah, it will cost a lot of money.
And then when you get to high levels, certain leagues just are like, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
So like you have like things like the WAF is drug tested. I know for a fact that WAL and the PAL aren't just by looking at their guys.
Yeah.
But like I think the WAF is the highest drug tested.
Yeah, I think it's weird in powerlifting how even within certain organizations they'll have like a non-drug tested and drug tested.
Yeah.
Officially. Like I went to a competition to go see this girl Ellen Stein. I think she's 67. I don't want to go. I don't want to overestimate her age, but she's been using since she was in her 40s, and she just crushed it at that meet. But this is a non-drug tested meet.
Yeah.
And it was an all girl meet. Probably 60 girls competing, I think. There were a couple girls there. I'm gonna tell. It was sad to see the changes that they've done to their bodies.
Yeah.
Like just you could see the facial structural change, the receding hairlines. Like it's just, I'm just like, and I was there. I was sitting with my buddy. Ever hear Pat Susko?
No.
No, you look up Pat Susko. I mean, he was squatting
I will.
pounds like back in the early '90s, and like he was just joking, like he was like, look at that girl's hairline, and he's like, yeah, whatever, it's worth it. And I was like, I don't know, Pat, maybe for you because you're a guy, and it doesn't really affect you that much. These girls, it's really severe. Are they girls competing in the arm wrestling?
Yeah, but it doesn't have so. We don't have the same thing with girls being on all the roids that much. A lot of that's because arm wrestling is relatively especially girls arm wrestling. It's not very big.
Yeah.
We definitely have girls in arm wrestling who are decidedly not natural, and you can look at them and say, okay, you're not natural, but they haven't that line that you can cross where you're like, oh, they haven't crossed that line yet.
Yeah.
See, the only real guys in arm wrestling I think who have gone too far would be Denis Aplinkov and Levon. I think both of them are going to have some really serious health issues, but I think it's just a lot of guys because it's a bone sport, right? The integrity of your joints is really important, right? And that old man tendon strength.
Yeah.
So you have guys like John Brezink who never was on a lot. The most he was ever on was when he was in his 40s, he was on TRT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he might not have been natural for a good amount of his career, but he wasn't on a ton. Or Michael Todd, okay, he's not natural, but like he's not on the everything in the kitchen sink. And you have Dennis Aplinkov, who was on so much.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what that man was on.
Well, this in 100% Raw where I compete in.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys that run meets up in Canada, and they introduced a overhead press into their meets. That's something you would probably want to do.
Oh yeah, I would if I could do a meet that was curl, bench, and overhead press.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
You're gonna have to travel up to Canada.
I got family in Canada. Are you kidding?
Yeah, and 100% Raw. Yeah, I've never been to a meet like that, but I've heard rumblings down here like, oh, we don't want that, and
I want that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would like it, but there's a lot of like rumblings down here, like oh, this is we're gonna wind up with all these different events. It's gonna become ridiculous,
So, if it was up to me, right, I would have a meet that was as many lifts as possible.
Yeah.
Right, just like I'm gonna put this bag of stuff down. There's like 20 lifts, like bicep curl, reverse curl, overhead press, like skull bench, like a ton of. I just think that'd be so much fun.
The only have you ever seen the people that call it a strict curl where they're not leaning against the board?
Yeah, the Russian one with the straight bar.
No, you'll see people even with the easy curl bar. Certain organizations have it where you don't have to have your back against the wall. You just have to keep your feet planted, and like these guys like arch their backs. Like,
dude, you could lift so much weight like that.
Yeah, I know a guy, Pete Miller, who's he used to be an Olympic lifter, and he just basically did like a reverse clean. Like he just just got under it, and everyone was just like, what did he just do? It's like, well, that's in the rules. If you don't have to keep your back on the wall.
I think that's gonna get so hard to judge.
Well, that's exactly what the Ed Cooten, the chairman of the rules committee in 100% Raw. That's his problem with the overhead press.
Oh yeah.
How are we gonna write the rules for this one?
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm someone who's guilty of doing some really fishy overhead presses in the past.
Right.
Like the 70s like Russian thing where you like arch like and you get under an arch somehow.
Yeah.
I mastered that like a couple years ago just like I want to see how I can push an overhead press up to you, right? So but I was like I'll say like 16, right? Like 189 pounds, and I had like a 2-plate overhead press for a bit. I was like, yes, and now it's probably about 2 plates still, but like.
How many days a week are you hitting those movements in your hand? Those.
I train them every single day.
Every day?
Yeah.
And you don't get tendonitis from that?
I don't train them heavy every day.
Okay.
So it's like, so right now, right? This is as far as my hand will supinate. Dude, I'm doing something. All right, give me 1 second, man.
Okay.
He needs to interview someone for a homework assignment. It's going to be so much fun.
All right, so you're saying every day, and you don't get tendonitis from it?
Well, so, because, I lift pretty much every day, right? Like, different body parts, right? And then I have a day where I just arm wrestle. I don't actually lift that day, I just arm wrestle, but that really counts as training your hand. But then, because I don't go heavy on, my hand work very often. I go heavy my hand. I have 1 day a week on Wednesday where I go really ham on, the functions of my hand, right? And it's all I do that day. And then every other day, pretty much at the end of the session, right, I'll do, some type of cupping exercise, some type of pronating exercise, and some type of rising exercise for, 1 to 3 sets of, 20. Just to get blood flow.
Can you just demolish someone's hand? Like, if you handshake them, could you just crush all their fingers?
Yeah. So I'm about this far from closing a number 3 gripper right now.
Yeah. What does that mean? Well,
The COC, yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never dropped a deadlift, so I don't have never worried about grip strength.
That's I spent some time really messing around with grip strength stuff. Like up to I think it was like, so like when you do a pull up like this,
Mm-hmm.
like it's a kind of like people call it a one arm, but it's just one hand really.
Yeah.
So I got to doing that with 135 pounds added to me.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah,
How
just
much do you weigh? You look like you weigh a lot.
I'm about 200, 210 pounds.
Yeah. That's a lot. I could do
Yeah.
that. I could do that if I diet down and get real lean. But like,
Oh yeah, I'm never lean.
now I have probably an extra like 20 or 25 pounds that I shouldn't have on me.
Dude, I love pizza way too much to be lean.
Yeah.
And the dining hall has pizza every day for lunch and dinner. So
I know you're in college, right? It's gonna be awfully
yeah,
hard. Awfully
yeah.
hard.
I probably I do have pizza twice a day, every day. Yes,
Yeah. You gotta
and
stay
it's
alcohol.
awesome.
Yeah. You gotta stay away from alcohol. It's a lot of calories.
Oh, I don't drink.
Yeah, it's not good. Don't do it. I don't recommend it.
I don't. I'm that one guy who like doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs.
Yeah. You don't need to do it.
I don't need that.
All right. This is an important question. When you train, do you train in pounds or kilos?
I train in pounds because we have pound plates at the gym. If I was at a gym with kilo stuff, I'd probably start training kilos pretty soon.
I think if you're American, like just for America, you have to lift in pounds.
Yeah, well, also like I go to the gym on like over there, like in the college, like they don't have kilo stuff. What am I gonna do? Like convert numbers on my phone? Oh, this is.
The Olympic lifters will do it. The Olympic lifters, if you have,
Oh yeah,
they convert it. They lift in kilos.
yeah. Well, that's their whole sport is kilos though.
Yeah.
See, I was confused at my meet when everything was in kilos. Like I had my phone, I was like, this doesn't seem right. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Why? Huh?
I need to get Joe's help for some of the conversions.
Yeah. So at the meets, I got one side is for the front side is for the squat, bench, and deadlift, and the other side's for the strict curl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just back and forth. Because for the strict curl, it's a different chart.
Yeah. No, Yeah. No, we had one of those, right? And I didn't see it at first, so I asked for Joe's help. And he was like, "Hey, man, we have a chart for you." I was like, "Thanks."
I got blindsided by it one meet. Me and my wife, I think a couple of friends, we went out to a competition. This was we lifted in the Anti-Drug Athletes United with the ADAU for a long time. It was like
Yeah.
mostly like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Jersey, New York, around that area, and they lifted in pounds. And
Yeah.
the guy who ran it passed away, Al Siegel, and 100% Raw kind of took it over. And we went to a meet and we got blindsided that everything was in kilos. I mean, we were just going and looking, like it was just.
There's no idea.
It just rocked our world. It just.
Yeah.
I was like, what I was looking to go for, now I have to add 2 pounds to it. I'm like, it's messing my head up.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, all my weight's are pounds though, but all my stuff I've gotten over the years for free mostly. I used to get it back when people didn't care about weights. Now
Those have been the days. Like, well, so when COVID happened, I kind of hastily put together a home gym, right?
Yeah.
And like I managed to get like a barbell off someone for like $80 somewhere, right? Managed to get like a power rack. But like, dude, plates were expensive.
Yeah. $2 a pound.
It's just. And then I feel like I got it like pretty early because I was like, I don't want to go 2 weeks without lifting, right? So the people who were like, oh, it's only gonna be a 2-week pandemic, its prices just shot up, and then they're like, I'm paying $3 a pound for 45-pound plates. I was like, oh, that's rough, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, so much of my stuff I got that people were just giving away for like nothing.
Yeah. Well, because because no one cared about fitness until like Instagram happened. You know what I'm saying? Like Instagram made it cool.
Instagram, so I started in like 2001. When was Instagram?
I have no idea. I'm not a big like internet person. You know that teenager who like people expect to know how to like use a phone because you're a teenager.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, can you fix this? And they just look and they're just like, I don't know. I'm that guy.
If it wasn't for Instagram, I would not know what's going on in the world of lifting at all. I would not know anything. I wouldn't even know anyone else is lifting other than when I got to a competition because I have my bunk.
Yeah.
Because like I got 2 squat racks.
Yeah.
I got spot for 2 people to deadlift. I got a ton of bars and
bunch of plates.
Couple of bars, all the plates I could need.
Got the cool trophies.
Yeah, all my trophies and belts, and and then right behind it, I got the reverse hyperextension.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's just really cool, actually.
That bad boy up the other day. That was a nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, do you want to say awesome? I have a professional arm wrestling table in my college room.
You're probably the only kid in college in America.
Yeah, that has brought that.
Who's dumb enough to arm wrestle you though?
I mean, so it's like you get guys to arm wrestle. Like you say, like, yeah, I'm an arm wrestler, and guys will be like, well, I bet I can beat you.
Really?
And then, so all I do is I do this, like start, poof, put them in a hook. I just hold there, right? I look at them. I just start talking like magic, just like, hey man, they're gonna beat me. I just hold them and I wait for them to give up. It's really funny.
Where's your college?
Springfield College. It's in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Man, that's a long drive. I'd really like to learn how to do that.
Oh, I was trying to get some of the strict curl guys to arm wrestle. I feel like the powerlifting community, right? Specifically the strict curl portion of it.
Yeah, it's growing.
Has this giant potential for arm wrestling.
Well, when I was in like I said, before 100% Raw, when I was in Anti-Drug Athletes United, in the rule book, like they were covered, like their insurance or whatever covered them for arm wrestling too. It was in there. Like,
yeah.
I saw it. I mean, you know what? I could ask Jay Siegel, the son of the guy who ran the organization, if they actually ever had an arm wrestling competition, but they used to do it. I mean, it was, at least it was in the rule books and they were insured for it. It was part of like the insurance.
Yeah.
So maybe
Maybe, yeah.
100% Raw would want to do it, or at least Joe, he wants to start his own organization instead of, just being inside of, inside
100% Raw.
But, yeah.
Yeah. If Joe runs an arm wrestling tournament, I will do that. That would be awesome.
He's doing it at the Arnold.
Like an arm wrestling?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or strict curl?
Oh, strict curl. He's doing strict curl. He's the guy who's running the strict curl meet at the Arnold.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I told him, I was like, well, what happens if you get a picture with Arnold? I was like, then your life is over. You're done, right? He's like, yeah, basically.
You won life at that point.
He won in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you train abs?
Oh, I'm gonna be honest here, right? So, you know how most people do abs like every day at the end of their lifting?
Yeah, my wife.
I train my hand instead, so there's no time to do abs now.
All right. Well, when most college kids say they train their hands, I don't think it's the same thing as what you're talking about.
Oh, it's very, very, very different minds. Very different hand training from most college kids.
Oh my goodness, you're so young.
Yeah.
Has lifting helped you through life's toughest moments?
So I actually have like kind of a story about this. Is that so? I had a family member who ended up having like really bad cancer, right? And yeah, I would say lifting, playing sports, like all that stuff it really helped me because it gives you an outlet that isn't like it gives you a very productive outlet that gets emotions out. Because like some people talk about how like drawing is like their outlet. Like I don't know about you, right? But for me, like yes, I like doing artwork and all that stuff. Like, but like drawing doesn't really get my emotions out of like it doesn't like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lifting really does. And so I think that I'm a lot younger than probably most of the people who are just like I have like some experience of like lifting does help me with like hard moments in life.
Yeah, no, it's funny because you're asking me if I was getting it, but you probably are explain that with the best articulation that I've heard so far. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the very really good. What would you say your weaknesses are?
Um I in arm wrestling, oddly enough, it's hand strength. Like I train my hand every day and still the weakest link.
Yeah, I don't know. That still doesn't register to me. I mean, like the whole training and everyday thing. I don't know.
I mean, well
Maybe
the lot
I guess abs you can almost train every day.
well this is what I heard from um Michael Todd, right? Is there are three things you can train every day. Your forearms,
Mm-hmm.
your calves, and your abs because you use them all every day, all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because like just think about how much you use your like think about like a mechanic, right? They probably work their hand harder than I do most of the time,
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Yeah. I know a mechanic who has crazy hand strength. You're right.
Yeah, like um, or like and calves, we all walk. Abs, we all do this. Like you use like there's some muscles you just use a lot, and they can be really trained a lot. I went through a weird phase of trying to train my biceps every day.
No, you
that did not work out.
that I know for a fact you can't do.
I developed this like my arm doesn't straighten all the way up my left arm anymore from that. It took like 2 months.
Yeah, I tried strict curling like way more than I should have, and I gave myself like distal bicep tendonitis, like really
Yeah.
bad. Like, and let me tell you how stupid I am, and well, how I was dumb enough for doing that, but even dumber for not listening to my wife, right? Because I told my wife like, my bicep feels like sore on the inside, like I think I'm. And I tell her this like a good thing. Like I think it's like actually growing from the inside. And she tells me she was like, yeah, that's not a good thing. That's tendonitis. She was like, yeah. I was like, no, 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 I'm growing it from the inside, and I just keep on going. A couple weeks later, I couldn't move my arms.
I never got I started getting sharp pain like right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I had that same feeling you had, like it's sore on the inside. I was like, at first I was like, it's just sore. I didn't really think anything of it, right? And I had like this sharp pain right here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit on this. This is not good.
You know what I was doing too? I like COVID just hit, and I was home from work, so I bought a drum set, and so like
That's cool.
yeah, it's cool. But a buddy of mine, right? He's like telling me all these different drum things to practice, and he's like telling me like these like different paradiddles they're called to practice on the snare. So I'm like and all of that is like hitting like right here.
Yeah.
And it's I guess I'm using that a lot in the strict curl too.
Yeah.
It was just between curling too much and then just constantly that banging on my using my forearms in the drums was too much. And some drummers were like, "Oh, there's no way they're just working out and doing the drums and giving yourself tendonitis like that." I'm like, "You're not strict curling." I was like, "You might be like working out in the gym doing those curls with dumbbells, and you know, if it's I'm in like
Yeah.
I'm on like Mars, man. You have no idea what I'm doing."
The people I think they sometimes don't understand there's levels to working out.
Yeah.
Like, yep, like because I have a lot of friends, like they play football, some of that, but like there's levels to this shit.
Yeah.
And I have some really strong friends, like, because I'm friends with a lot of the guys on football, all that stuff, right? But like they're strong as hell, but like there are levels of how much you work out and like the intensity and stuff.
Yeah, because right, like a bodybuilder or something, like they're like strength athletes, right? But
Yeah,
what me and you are trying to do is we're power athletes.
yeah,
Trying to like just use like all our muscle, like it just insanely efficiently for one move, for one bench, for one
yeah,
and that's something that most people don't care about, you know,
yeah.
like
Most
didn't do it.
it's like I have like you could I have my 1 rep max bench memorized. Do you know how few people actually know their 1 rep max bench?
Probably not. I know some. I talked to a lot of people that powerlift, so
Oh, they would all know it.
yeah. I try not to talk to most of the people. You know what I do lately? No, but to get to talk to people, like I met you on Instagram.
Yeah,
I've been like deleting a lot of people. I've been deleting people, and then like I came across your profile, and I was like, oh snap, an arm wrestler, powerlifter. I was like, that sounds really cool. I want to talk to this guy. You know.
yeah.
So these have been the only people I've been talking to lately. People I find interesting.
Oh yeah. And then through my Instagram, you can see my over break, my hand strength
Yeah.
quest. That cumulative of like all the stupid stuff I did. That's where some of my pain started. Because over break, I went hard on like grip strength and hand strength.
Yeah.
Every single day. Like hard.
Yeah.
And that was not fun.
Yeah.
But like you know your hand? Like, you know the muscle right here in your hand?
I don't know what that's called.
I don't know what it's called either, but it visibly grew on me.
Yeah.
So
You look like you have like a meat hand. It's just like looks like someone packed a lot of meat in there.
yeah. I know an arm wrestler, right? He has this giant hand, right? But it's so like it's just so thick. It's like when Grimmer, I'm like this. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't have my finger. This is not much leverage.
You know what?
Just
There's a sport in Russia. It's the slapping sport. Have you ever seen it?
yeah, I've seen that.
They just slap each other until one like knocked out. You would with those hands, you would be good at that.
Well, see, here's the other thing: is I don't like getting slapped. So, like, no, I don't want to be slapped.
Are there any myths about arm wrestling?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, which ones do you think you'd like to get rid of?
I think a big one is just like injuries. Like, yes, injuries happen, but like, it's not like it's the highest risk thing for injuries. Like, people think like, oh, your arm, like, no, arm breaks are a freak accident, right? I think that's
yeah. For me, I would think it would be like pretty common.
yeah, they're not that common.
Huh?
So where they're the most common actually, right, is like on a lunch table.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like schoolroom arm wrestling, like barroom arm wrestling, where just because that's the technique that is puts the most stress right there. I think the other one is like, I don't know, like there's so many odd myths about arm wrestling that I don't know because I'm in the arm wrestling community.
Yeah.
Like, I heard someone talking once about like how it's just a technique. There is a technique, but you need the strength to do the technique.
Yeah. Both.
Because it's like I can get someone who's really strong, right? Like a really strong arm, right? But they don't have a strong hand, right? Like, if they tried to top roll me, like I could just do this, and their hand would just go, like they'd go back and they'd just be under my hand.
Yeah.
And it's just okay. Well, I have leverage now. Because it's such a leverage game. But if your hand's not strong, and you try to climb and get leverage, your hand dumps.
All right. So here, here's a good question, right? To like really find out, right?
Yeah.
How badass arm wrestling is, right? We're gonna get to it, right?
Ooh.
You ever seen an arm wrestler shit his pants, pee himself, or throw up during arm wrestling, or nosebleeds, or
So I there's an arm wrestler, right? Michael Todd. You probably heard of him. So he broke his left arm, right? And the next weekend competed with his right. Um, then I haven't seen a lot of like we don't get the same weird bleeding things that you get in powerlifting because there isn't the same amount of pressure in your head.
yeah.
But
I tell you, if you have to do stuff while you're arm wrestling, I don't think you're doing it hard enough.
no, because you don't go like it's just
I see what you're talking about.
because like when I do a curl, I go right, but like when I'm arm wrestling, I don't go like the same way. Like, well, because an arm wrestling match can take how long? Like a minute.
Yeah.
Like if you guys are good, like if both guys are strong, you go inside. That's a minute-long match right there, right? Like it can be, but like I don't want to go. Like that's how you pass. Like we are taught not to do that in arm wrestling because people pass out so much doing it.
Yeah,
and when you pass out, you lose your arm wrestling match.
Yeah, I passed out in deadlifts doing it.
Did you get the deadlift?
No. One man, I was so mad at a competition. Like I literally like just so close to locking it out, and I blacked out, dropped the bar, blacked out. And, like everyone thought I was dead. And my wife was like, "Ah, he's okay, just leave him alone." I came right back.
So I had this weird time where I wanted to do Olympic weightlifting in high school, right? And I did a clean. I think it was like 315 or something like that, right? And it hit me like right here, and it was too far back. I just fell back with it.
Yeah, that's Olympic lifting.
No, but I was like knocked right out, right? Like it just cut off the air, right? I was knocked right out, right? And everyone thought I like killed myself. I was like, huh, that wasn't much fun.
Yeah. I've talked about this with, people who are coaches like in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Well, Olympic lifting is not for everyone. Like Olympic lifting is for athletes. I'm not saying you're not an athlete. I don't know you. I'm just you might be good for Olympic lifting, but not everyone is going to have the intense like balance that you need, the speed that you need for Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
I think I don't know arm wrestling, but a sport like powerlifting, like I can take anyone off the street.
Yeah.
Any person. We'll start with strength test them. We'll see how strong they are. We'll set up a program. I'll keep making that person stronger. Little by little, we'll grow. Olympic lifting, not
hard.
Because it's not about just gaining strength.
Yeah.
If it was, it would be easy for everyone to do it. But there's so much more to that sport that the average person just can't do.
Yeah.
Like you'll see someone sometimes. I'll see them in the gym, like squatting, and they'll be squatters they'll squat with their back straight up. You ever notice somebody?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's someone you want to grab and see if they're an Olympic lifter.
Yeah.
Because not everyone can do that. You need to be able to do that to be an Olympic.
Yeah. I have like the most bent over low bar squat you have ever seen.
No, you haven't. Apparently, I don't know. Let's put mine to yours. We'll see.
Oh no, I made it as I've intentionally made it as ugly as possible.
Yeah. Mine's that looks like that, but where I started from in college, like my freshman year, no, sophomore year in college, when I started powerlifting, like the guys on the team used to call me the Riddler because my back was shaped like a question mark when I was squatting. That's how bad my squat was. It was just so far hunched over. It was just horrible. I,
I
I,
can't
I
even.
think I somehow had a hunched over back with a hyperextension. I think I might have been the only person to do both at the same time.
That's impressive, actually, in a way. Like my back mobility is not good.
Yeah.
Like I can go like the.
Yeah.
My mobility in general is kind of terrible right now.
So like mine, yeah. So like I had that disgusting squat, and the deadlift wasn't good. But back then, like no guys were really mobile with their back that had like an extreme arch.
Yeah.
Me and the few girls that were powerlifting at the time, like had like these big arches. You know, everyone would come up to me like, "Wow, that's a great arch. It's a great arch." Now everyone seems to have this big arch in the bench. Yeah, everyone's doing. I just naturally was able to do it. You know, I know now maybe guys have to like stretch their muscles. I just think I didn't have any muscles there, so that's how I was able to do it.
I think it's because now it's taught more.
Yeah.
Like guys, like you like when you teach someone how to bench, right? One of the first things you say is arch your back.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't alive back in the day, but like, I kind of don't think that it was as like taught to do,
No.
right? Yeah.
You were taught to have a big chest. It was big chest.
Yeah.
Arch. It was like, yeah, that, but not that. Not that hyperextend.
Yeah.
That arched back.
Yeah. No, because I can cut like again, I'm not good at arching, but I can cut like 4 inches off my range of motion with an arch.
Yeah.
And you get wide grips, so your elbow barely hits 90, and it's just like nice.
Yeah.
Nice short range of.
Yeah.
I have short arms though, so
that whole wide benching thing. Well, back when I started, everybody was wide benching.
yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh no, that's stupid. You're gonna hurt yourself. Come back in narrow." And now all of a sudden, I see everybody is going back out again.
I think, so I think I don't bench like super wide because I have a short arm already. So I can get a short range of motion. I can be in the kind of comfortable spot. But I have a friend, right? I go to the gym with him. He's like a complete power lifter. But his grip on bench is like probably like 6 inches wide. Mine, by the way, he's like 5'6",
Yeah.
and he has like this, like one of the really wide benches. I feel like whenever I try to just like show something, I'm just immediately like out of the frame.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You just couldn't really see how wide your arms were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
You know when you put your index finger on the ring?
I put my basically like this little meaty part right there. I put
Yeah.
outside of the knurling.
So I put my pinky on the ring.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like over here-ish. And he goes like, whoa.
Yeah. I
don't know.
Think about what you're talking. What do you stretch for your? Do you stretch before you do your wrestling? I'm sorry, your arm wrestling thing.
Well, we do a thing where we're in like an armless position. We do this with our hand, and we go, I pin you, you pin me, like just really like almost no resistance, right?
Yeah.
And we go a little bit more resistance, and we kind of warm up a bit like that. Because if I was just to like go with something strong, just go, like just both of us just slam inside into like a press or a hook or something like that is we're gonna feel that the next day, no matter how warm we are.
Yeah.
But if we're not warm, we're gonna feel it a lot. Like Sundays after arm wrestling, I can't pronate my hands far enough to be able to type. I have to type like this.
I would think right after warming up, right?
Yeah.
Bands would be.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Help to you, right? But like as you get further down, the tighter it gets.
Yeah, that actually. So I do band work on my arm wrestling table a good amount. Like we don't do it as a warm before like we arm wrestle, but that actually is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I like
I should ask about that.
bands for a lot of stuff. I think they're really like a pretty they're really useful, and you can take them around with you too. You know, like I have
Yeah,
chains that I use a lot in my basement. I got the 50
yeah,
ones each on each side. I really do. I like using chains for stuff. But like, if you're a guy, if you don't have your own gym in your basement, like chains are like you carry around 100 pounds of chains in your bag.
Oh, dude, that's half the workout right there. Getting that bag into the gym.
Yeah. And then the only like I went to this competition on Saturday. It's inside a big gym. They have lots of chains now. Everyone thinks it's a cool thing, so they have chains. But they have chains on these collars, and it's like you can't. That's not how you use them. You don't just throw them on. You have to adjust it so that they're all on the floor at the bottom of the lift, and they
Yeah,
can't. If you come up, oh, you're using.
I've seen this. I've seen this and been like, what are you doing?
I I have I have all my chains, and then I have one little chain through them, and
Yeah,
you adjust it like because my wife is shorter than me, and and I know exactly on how many links for my bench. My bench is 15 links. My squat is the whole chain, and my deadlift is I just wrap it tight on the bar, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, guys use chains. Well, I think they just like it because it looks cool.
So, um, you know like what a hub is, like the Iron Man, like the grip sport hub.
No.
Oh, I have one. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. This isn't really an arm wrestling. This is a grip sport thing, right? You see this? So you grip it
Okay.
like this, and you have weight, right? And this is one arm wrestlers are. This is the one of the 3 things in grip sport that arm wrestlers suck at because you don't arm wrestle like this.
Yeah.
Like you see how my thumbs, like you see how open my hands, how the weight's pulling. Like arm wrestlers, we have a strong closed hand. We have a cup. We're not good at like this pinchy stuff normally, right? And I started doing this actually to open up some of the tissues in my hand and like try to like get a different stitch from my form that I don't do constantly. So I picked this up and I made a pinch block. But I was terrible at first. But why does I put my chains on this, right?
Yeah.
On a little clip. And I would pick it up.
It's a great idea.
And I'd get to a point where I couldn't get any further and it would fall out my hand because the weight would get heavier.
Yeah.
And I remember like eventually I got all the way up, right? And then some dummy, right? Like I was trying to say someone, right? And like, oh, why don't you make the chain shorter so it picks up faster? I was like, you're defeating the purpose of the chains.
Yeah,
If I wanted a solid weight, I would just use a solid weight.
yeah.
Oh, I have a loading pin too. This is actually cool. This is how you know I had too much spare time off break. Where is it?
Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you. Arm wrestlers. Like, I think powerlifting competitions. I've talked to strongmen guys. Like everyone like says that all the people competing are nice and supportive of each other.
Everyone's awesome.
I would think, right? Like I would think arm wrestlers are all jerks.
Yeah, we're all awesome. We're all great.
I would be like arm wrestlers. I'd be like, oh no, like I don't want to go to an arm wrestling competition. These guys are like not gonna like. They're gonna think I'm an idiot for coming.
So my name of arm wrestlers, right, is the big thing in arm wrestling is we want to get the sport to grow.
Yeah.
So if there's someone who's kind of new, everyone's gonna be like, hey, you should do this. Like everyone's gonna be trying to like give you advice to try to like help you because they want you to come back.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because arm wrestling, right? It spent a lot of time as like this kind of like you know the movie like Over the Top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the Top.
And you know how like it showed arm wrestling as like this underground thing.
Yeah.
It stayed that way since that movie till like it's starting to come out of that now with like Devin the Red and all those guys on social media. But like it's still like you tell someone like, yeah, I'm an arm wrestler, and they're like, the hell? Like what? because and then, like I kind of talked to him more about it. I showed him the arm wrestling table. I arm wrestled him like once, and they're like, oh, okay, this is like he's like a legit arm wrestler. But like it takes people a couple minutes to be like to realize that it's not just like something that you do when you're drunk in a bar.
All right. The question that's sort of similar to that. We'll get back to that. How bad do you hate CrossFit?
Oh, I don't have very many issues with CrossFit. Like, I don't do CrossFit because like the one thing I hate about CrossFit, right, is when guys talk about pull-ups.
Yeah.
And I have a guy, right? So I'm part of the Springfield College's like lifting team, like use the varsity weight room because the nice weight room's fun, right? And there's a couple guys there who are like kind of CrossFitters, right? And they know I'm an arm wrestler. They know arm wrestling, like a lot of pulling involved in that, right? And they're talking about pull-ups, right? And one of them was like, I can do like, it's just like, do like 34 pull-ups or something like that. I was like, damn, that's a lot. And like, how you can, and then like, I thought about it, and they're like, Kip, and I was like, oh, I'm so much less impressed now. I don't care about that. Like, that one hurts me.
Yeah, if you know like Olympic lifting well too, and like you watch them lift, like most of them, they don't know what they're doing. That's why they constantly like, oh, it frustrates me. But it's good. It's good for other sports because CrossFit, everyone winds up getting out of CrossFit.
Exactly.
Everyone winds up getting out of CrossFit. And that's where you got to find arm wrestlers. Because what happens is, I don't know why. I got to find someone smart to do a study on it. People are attracted to CrossFit. It's enticing to the new.
It's mainstream.
It's very, right? Like, it's not scary.
Yeah.
Lifting scary, Olympic lifting scary, arm wrestling scary, strongman scary.
Strongman's terrifying.
Grip strength, I have no idea about it. I've seen it a little bit. I'd like to know more about it, but it's scary.
Grip strength?
Yeah.
Actually, so what I would say, right, strongman is terrifying, right? Like, that's, I think, the scariest one. But grip strength is like its own group in strongman.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because if you look at all the grip strength guys, they're all strongmen.
Yeah.
And strongman, they use the same, like they do the same, like you know, like the inch dumbbell, that's a strongman implement, that's a grip implement. The axle bar, they both use like it doesn't become different until you get like little things like this, and
yeah,
this isn't, but like the main grip sort thing is strongman stuff, and like they use all the same stuff.
Competes and just that grip strength stuff.
Oh yeah, there's some weirdos in that. A lot of arm wrestlers are also grip guys.
Yeah. Well, so back to the CrossFit, right? So what happens
Yeah.
with CrossFit is what I've been hearing, right? I talk to gym owners, right? Powerlifting gym owners, Olympic lifting coaches. They're like, you know what? This, like, they don't want to talk bad about it, right? Because they don't want these CrossFitters to hate them, but they're like, CrossFit has been the best thing that's ever happened to us because these athletes, like, they're getting injured left and right. They start to learn about Olympic lifting, they start to learn about powerlifting, and they're like, you know what, maybe I should try something else. And these powerlifting gyms are starting to they're just getting tons and tons of CrossFitters. That's Olympic lifters. They're getting the CrossFitters that want to actually learn how to Olympic lift. You know, so it's really been a thing for these other sports.
Yeah, I don't think arm wrestling is going to be the sport where we get a ton of CrossFit people, because arm wrestling and CrossFit, I think, are they're two of the furthest apart you can go, right?
Well, you need to like combine the arm wrestling. Well, you need to do like in a 1 mile sprint and then an arm wrestle.
Don't make me run a mile. I am way too fat and happy for that.
Yeah.
Dude, I made weight for my powerlifting thing, right? I did, and then in like the next over the next 3 days, gained back 20 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, I'm interested, right? Right, because you said the arm wrestling can go for a minute.
It can, yeah.
If I had to lift for a minute, I don't think I would use ammonia capsules.
Ooh, so the thing about arm wrestling, right, is that it can be split second, right?
Yeah.
Like so many arm wrestlers are just boom.
Right.
Like somebody just takes like, and even with good arm wrestlers, like it's just, oh, I have a higher hand in the setup. I'm just gonna go boom on the top roll, and then it's just, oh, okay, that happened.
So are you
And then
popping the ammonia capsules?
I don't.
You don't.
Some guys do. It's individual. It's like some powerlifters don't do ammonia, some do. But the thing about arm wrestling is that some matches, like I was in a match in practice like 2 weeks ago, right? It was in a hook, and it was like we didn't have a timer,
Yeah.
but we got to like, I'm gonna say like most of War Pigs. So that's a long song. Like that's a long time, right? And it was just like like a lot of dragging, a lot of side try. Like it was just such a long match, and I remember like after it, right now, I eventually lost, which is the saddest part because when you're in like an 8-minute match, you might as well win it. And I remember just being like, my bicep, so like it's just like I was so pumped up. I was just like, okay, blood, get out of my arm. That's the thing. You know the kid who always raised his hand in school?
Yeah.
He's destined for arm wrestling because we do this to get blood out of our forearm and our bicep because you get so pumped up. You get such a good pump from arm wrestling.
You know, it's funny that you do. I had a tendency to do that with my arm down.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna get the blood into your hand now. That's.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I did it because Michael Phelps did it, like back, and
Maybe, I don't know.
and he used to flail his bicep around like that.
Just.
So I don't know. I think I picked it up from him doing it, and anyway, so after this whole bicep tendonitis thing, I was like, I'm like petrified of doing anything to hurt my bicep. So like, it was a habit I used to do. So now I'm like, just going around scared not to do it. I'm like, even though I don't think so. I was strict curling twice a week, like without like, I was heavy, like both days were heavy days, like,
Oh.
it was just, and it was just destined for failure. I don't know what, sometimes,
Yeah.
You get something in your head, you have this just unrealistic goal that you want to hit too soon, and you have a wife that's talking common sense to you, and it's just pissing you off, and you just want to even prove her wrong even more.
Yeah.
Just wait till you're married and your wife's trying to talk common sense to you. You'll know.
Yeah. I have the advantage right now of being young, so I can short curl twice a week without issues. But so much of that is because I'm 19.
Yeah. Let me tell you, man. Like I used to do a heavy squat and bench on Monday, my deadlift on Wednesday, and then squats for volume and bench for volume on Fridays. Like I would die if I tried to do that now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Because like right now I squat on Monday, and then like I just pray that like all my soreness is gone by Thursday because that's when I deadlift, and I'm just like just squeak by right now. I'm like, I don't know, if I get any older, I'm like, I'm gonna have to like just not deadlift like every other week or something, or I don't figure something else out, or
do like go on like a night, like make up your own weekdays, like 9 days.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I did that. That's when I hurt my arm. I have it up on the wall right here. I keep it up there to remind myself how stupid I was. Can you see it? The Buzz Aldrin thing.
Yeah.
To infinity and beyond. I was like, I used to. What did I? Oh, I remember the program. I called it Infinite Gains. That was the program. Let me tell you, there was a wall. It wasn't infinite.
It's like when I first started training my hand every day, I got such good gains, right? And it kind of slowed down. And I was smart enough, right, to like as it got hard to like have more and more light days and do it less hard, right?
Yeah.
So I got to one heavy hand day a week, right?
Yeah.
But like I know guys who like they do so a lot of people, they have an arm wrestling table, right, that they have a pulley on, right? So they'll go on it and they'll do a really heavy like drag. They'll go right with a weight and like a wrist wrench or something, and they'll both hands, right? And they'll go like the 1 rep max their drag hook, and then they'll do like a West Side system where they do like max effort, dynamic effort, right?
Yeah.
And I was always just like, you are at like, these are not movements meant to be done for a 1 rep max effort in the gym like that.
Yeah.
But a ton of guys, it works great for them. And I might try it at some point, like get a pulley for my table, just get really good at boom, boom. Because you can get so sport specific suddenly with a pulley on your table. But like, it's the type of thing that kind of like, I'm kind of worried about like how my elbow would feel with that.
Yeah. Over the years, I mean, I've tried so many different things. I like some aspects. The main aspects that I like of the West Side system are how you focus on the different areas that that you need to improve, that your main lift that you want to increase, and changing that exercise every like 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
To not just changing it, but working basically the same muscles, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
So, but you're always training like that main lift also, right?
Yeah.
So like I'll train. So like my heavy squat day. So it just depends on where I am and when I'm going to a competition. Like I don't really like to compete that often. I compete like twice a year, and because I need I train in 8-week cycles. I need 8 weeks like after a competition to do higher volume, and and then I'll take a week off and then come back like that mid cycle to get back towards like what I got like at that last competition. Start off like if I wanted to get to like just keep it easy, like I don't know, like a 500 squat I did at the last competition, right? So so I'll do like 540, no 5. I'll start with like 430, and so like that first week I'll probably get like 5 reps, and then I'll work up to that like 8th week, and maybe I'll probably get like 2 reps with it hopefully, and then I'll take a week off, come back next cycle. Now I'm like, I guess depending on how I got that 500, if I crush 2 reps fast, bang, boom, boom, I'm like, man, I did awesome. Now I'm gonna get to 515 or 520. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing basically come down like 80 pounds off of that number and work my way up towards that goal.
Yeah.
But then and then I'm working in that top set. Then I'll come down. I'll do like chains and bands. And then I'll come down from that and I'll do like 3 lighter sets, maybe with the third set with like dumbbells hanging off of the bar and stuff like that. All different things.
Yeah.
Stuff to work in. But that's my basic workout theory that I've gotten over the years.
Yeah. So something I started trying is just like for like my powerlifting stuff, like just being really specific for a bit, but not being really heavy.
Yeah.
Like, so the only bench I'm doing is a bench press, like the way I would do it in a competition, right?
Well, I gauge it off of reps. How many reps are you getting?
I'm just cutting everything off at like 5 right now, but like I'm not doing hard sets of 5. I'm doing a bunch of them. So like the other day I did like 275 for 5 sets of 5. I'm trying to keep bar speed up and all that stuff.
What about that last set? You see like that.
The last set I've been taking to failure. I got like.
Oh, you're doing. You know what you're doing.
You gotta take the last one to failure.
Yeah.
I think I got like 8. I've pretty. My squat is not as impressive as my bench. My bench is pretty good right now.
Yeah.
My squat, I think the last week was. I think it was like 365. for like a couple sets of 5, and I just squeaked them out. And I was like, okay, I am done. That was hard.
Yeah. When me and my wife started in this, like, I mean, I guess the internet was there. I mean, like, I remember like in college they taught you in orientation like how to Google something. Like it was pretty new. And
Right, like they tell you like
they did. They brought you to the library. It was like part of your orientation class. They took you down to the library. They showed you the computer, and the librarian like showed you how to Google things. That's so cool. And yeah,
just,
so,
just to make you feel kind of old. So when I was in kindergarten,
yeah,
we did the same thing.
yeah, yeah. So we didn't, all these powerlifting methods and watching what other people were doing online, like you can learn so fast now.
Yeah.
I know people that are in the sport like 2 years, 3 years. I'm just amazed at how much they know. Like, it's incredible, like how fast people can learn stuff now.
Well, because like, and also because powerlifters are nice.
Yeah.
Like, you guys want, like, it's like people are going to like try to help people out.
Yeah.
Like where like I feel like for a sport to stay underground with the internet, the community has to want it to stay underground, right? Like, and so like I don't think powerlifting like was going like powerlifting now was getting like because powerlifting back in the day, like you have that image of like West Side Barbell and like no one knew anything about it, but like
basement, like if there was a gym,
yeah,
like wherever there was powerlifting, there had to be like there was a little place in the corner of the gym, like like where
yeah,
people were, and no one else went there.
yeah. But like I feel like nowadays like powerlifting is becoming much more like common. Like you talk to like if I talk to guys around school like powerlifting, like they all know what it is.
Yeah, that's a big difference because
yeah. Well, I went back in the day, no one would have, right?
When you heard powerlifting, they were like, "Oh, the thing like that," right? Everyone will go, "The thing like that."
Yeah. You know the song? That's powerlifting right there.
Yeah. So, what are your goals with arm wrestling?
So I kind of want to win some big tournaments, right? Like, because I like arm wrestling a lot. I do think I'm pretty good at it. Like, I want to try to like I want to try to compete in like some big tournaments, win some big tournaments, like kind of make a name like in arm wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's hard to say goals in arm wrestling because like there's no specific numbers. Because like in powerlifting, you can be like, yeah, I want to curl 190 pounds. But like arm wrestling, like there aren't those specific numbers. But like I'd say I want to win at least one national title.
Yeah.
Like I think that's like the minimum I want to do in arm wrestling right now. Like I might end up doing more, but I think winning a national title, I think that's attainable. Right? Like I have a good frame, I'm carrying enough muscle mass, all that. I think like after that we'll see like how it went, all that. But like I definitely want to win a national title.
All right. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun, man. Thanks a lot for teaching me about arm wrestling.
Oh yeah. It's a great. If you're ever in the Springfield area, just send me a message and like I'll teach you how to arm wrestle.
I'm scared.
At the table.
I don't know, man. You're a big guy. I don't want you messing with my arm.
Wait, so you want something funny? So I know a guy, right? Who is they're like an arm wrestler, like they're a professional, like they're a pro arm wrestler, right? They're like 160-ish pounds max, right? And I can arm wrestle them, right? And it's like if they give me something, like they let me get positioning, like I'll be in the match with them. But if they don't want me in the match and they decide not to give me anything, I can't get it.
Yeah.
And it's just such a strong guy. But like if you looked at if you met this guy on the street, right?
Yeah.
You would have no idea he's ever touched the weight. And that's the guy that should scare you.
I think
because
I'd like to think that's me. I'm not a very big guy, you know. I'm
yeah,
180 pounds, you know, but
yeah.
in I don't think people would realize I could, you know, like if I push them like that, I'd put them through a wall.
Yeah, but that same arm wrestling is like, or even like so many arm wrestlers, like if you meet them, you're like, huh, you're not that big, but it's like they're big in those one or two spots, like they have a big forearm or something, right? And then like no one notices that really, right? And you arm wrestle them, and it's just like, oh, that's why hustling such a big thing in arm wrestling. Like you'll get a guy like that in the bar and just be like acting return, like, hey, you're a big guy. I bet $100 I can beat you in an arm wrestling match. Bam.
Yeah, yeah. I wish we could do that with the deadlift.
If you bring a barbell
Yeah,
and weights into a bar, everyone will think you're up to something.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I want to come to an arm wrestling match. That would be awesome, man. Let me know when there's going to be a match. Are they
Yeah.
stopped COVID or are they still doing them?
Oh, everything stopped because of COVID. Because imagine this: arm wrestling is not COVID friendly.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of see why,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, I'm not very happy about it.
Okay, so I won't mention the meet I went to on Saturday, but maybe 10% of the people there were wearing masks. Like no,
Yeah.
I was just
Oh, so I went to a meet to do strict curl, right, with Joe Strict Curl Nation over there at like Connecticut LLC,
yeah.
like, and we were all pretty good about wearing masks, but like it wasn't like we were like really like being like, but the other thing is like it's not like I could walk into a mall right now, right? Half the people are going to be not wearing their masks, right? Just because America.
Where up there
And
in New York? Well, in New York, here, especially in New York City, I mean, everyone's masked.
oh yeah,
It's
that
different.
makes sense.
It's different ways. It's different where you are.
Yeah, but like I could go to a mall, like everyone will have a mask on, but like half are gonna have like their nose, like under their nose or something. I actually got written up the other day because I was wearing a mask, right? Like this.
Is that pink?
Yeah, I have pink masks. They're awesome.
I guess. You know, it's your preference, sexual preference.
I mean, in this day and age, you can't even say anything about it. But no, I have a pink masks. They're the cheapest masks I could find on the internet. Like
Right.
that's why they're pink. Richard is gonna get like I also have I decided to buy a bunch of stuff that says curl on it but I have this mask, but I didn't measure my face, so it's really tight.
Yeah, looks like your ears are about to rip off.
Yeah, it's not. But if this was the right size, I would wear this mask only probably.
And curl competitions too, man. When it comes, I like, you know, I'm just starting now to go to competitions that other people are into, watch and cheer for them. It's pretty fun because I've only gone to competitions for the last, I don't know, 20 years that I've been in.
Yeah.
It's nice to go see other people lift. So
Oh yeah.
hit me up, and I'll even share it, you know, to other people when you're competing, and we can get some people.
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna do one around like try to find like June-ish.
Yeah, June 13th,
Yeah.
going to a competition. June 13th. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all in Jersey. That's what I'm training for now.
Yeah.
I'm on week. This is week 5 of 8 weeks. Then I take a week off. Then another 8 weeks. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. For like the first time, I wrote out my program, like the numbers I want to hit ahead of time,
Yeah.
and it is working so good. I'm like, why don't I do this normally?
You got them, and you gotta figure like how many weeks work for you too. Like
Yeah.
the people, I've had a range that from everyone I've talked to, from 4 weeks, which I think is crazy short. I don't know how you can peak in 4 weeks. To 12
That's
weeks, which I think is like my brain can't handle a program for that long. Like my personal preference is 8. I could see, we'll circle around there, but I've,
4 weeks seems so short.
yeah,
Although, in fairness, my first strict curl meet, right? I went from like I switched gyms because I went to college, right? And I forgot at our college gym, right? They took a lot of equipment out because of COVID stuff, like how there's less stuff, right?
yeah,
Because less stuff, less people is their logic, right? And one of the things that happens to not be there this semester, it was our last semester, not there this semester. I'm kind of bugged about this one, is the curl bar.
yeah.
So I spent my 3 weeks like right before my meet with doing all my curls with a straight bar.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's gonna mess you up when you go to the meet.
yeah, it didn't end up messing me up too much, but like I think what messed me up the most was just not being familiar with the rules.
Oh, the strict curl has the most commands of any lift.
Well, because at first I wasn't aware of the down. Well, in fairness, they told me the rules, and I forgot them.
Yeah, well, you have to train for them.
Yeah, but like so, first one was like 135, curl it. I forgot what the down command, so I went down, remembered the down command, curled it back up, and they're like, no, that's. I was like, that's fair. I
Yeah,
did, and I smoked 145, right? And I tried like 152, and my back came off a little bit on the way down. I was like, okay, like these are the rules. I agree with the rules, but I was like, next one, I'm gonna know the rules.
well, yeah. When in powerlifting, like I've been taught actually by my coach. He started lifting in the '70s. That like 4 weeks out before the meet, like because I mean I've always been training with other people,
Yeah,
and so you'll be like, hey, you know what? Give me, this is my heavy set. Give me signals.
yeah,
You'll walk out and be like, all right, squat. They'll check your depth, like rack.
yeah,
Just so you get the signals.
yeah.
Because I mean, if you don't do that and you go to the meet and you get a heavy squat and you're just like, whoa, you get it up and you just want to rack it.
Yeah.
You're not if you're not trained for those signals. You can't be thinking when you're coming up with the bar like that. It just has to be automatic.
Oh, yeah. And you know the thing people do where like you bench and on the last one you only go like half of it and you re-rack it.
Yeah.
So when I broke myself of doing that one, but I used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I compete in a power for me, I do bench. I'm like, if I go, that's an immediate no, like so many reasons.
Yeah. But the strict, I mean, it depends on what federation you're in. The federation I went to this meet on Saturday, they had a down signal, an up signal, and a rack signal for the bench.
Yeah.
So the one I compete in, you could just bring it down whenever you want. There's just a press and a rack.
Yeah.
The strict curl, there's a curl, a down, and a rack.
Yeah.
That's a lot of signals. That's a lot of signals to remember.
I think deadlift, the only signal is down, right?
It's the simplest one.
Yeah.
Squat just two. There's squat and then rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the deadlift's the easiest. But people still mess it up too.
Wait, did you see that one of like I think it was like Eddie Hall like a world record deadlift, like picks up and just throws it down, and it's like Dumbo.
Don't count.
I know it's so like it's like the little things like that about like powerlifting that I'm just like
It doesn't count. It's like,
yeah.
when you're a powerlifter, when people talk about what they did in the gym and stuff, and like to me, it's
irrelevant.
It's irrelevant unless you do it.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. Unless you got at least two red lights, it doesn't matter.
Or but also like I feel like gym numbers can be important, but like once again, like until you
training and what you're going to do in the future and stuff like that's important, but
until there's a guy there saying, "Yep, it counts," it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Except for arm wrestling. Now, in arm wrestling, here's our movement standard. did it budge?
Yeah, did it budge? That's the thing.
Oh yeah, so people do like the big one to do this on is pronation lifts, right? Is you'll load it up, right? You'll do about and did the weight physically budge from the ground? If yes, you did it. And then cupping, you'll get like a dumbbell, put like a mega fat grip on it. And if you can, you did it. Because we don't compete in the gym.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And so some guys I think take it too far. You know who Devin Lorette is?
No.
Okay, so he's one of the best arm wrestlers of all time, right? But there's a bunch of videos of him working out, right? And you'll see him do something. It'll be like this. Like at one range of motion, he's like perfect form. I'm like, dude, you went from here, you dropped under the table, levered back like this, and moved it an inch.
Yeah.
I would not say perfect form.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's arm rep. Like the gym lifts don't matter at all. So they can be as dumb as we want them to be.
It's as long as you win in the meet.
As long as you get this in the tournament. The other one is some guys are trying to do like weightlifting competitions for arm wrestling. Like a pronation lift, a dumbbell curl, a back pressure lift. And like on the internet, I'm like, guys, the issue is every arm wrestler uses terrible form.
Yeah.
On all of these things, like because everyone goes so heavy on, like.
Yeah.
Because like, well, I don't go too heavy on most of them, mainly because I can have a powerlifting program that my arm wrestling like hand training fits into.
Yeah.
Instead of the other way around, so I can't decide. Okay, I'm going to try a 200-pound pronation lift and like kill myself. But there's so many guys I'm just like what? You like they take the I think some guys take like the purpose out of the movement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been great.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you, man.
It's been great talking to you. I'm gonna stay in touch with you. I'm definitely coming to one of your competitions. I'm coming to an arm wrestling competition.
Yeah. Oh, next one I have lined up. I'll let you know.
All right. I'm gonna bring in the whole crew, my wife and the kids.
Oh, you got kids? I love little kids.
Yeah. I got 3 kids.
What are their names?
Michael, Gwen, and Jess.
Michael, Gwen, and Jess.
Yeah.
How old are they?
My son is my youngest daughter is 7. My son is 9, and my oldest daughter is 11.
Oh, those are fun ages.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 11, right? I didn't like school, and I was in school, right? I hadn't like the teacher, and I went, "Hey, can I go to the bathroom?" Right? And I just left, walked home.
Yeah.
You know they call the cops on you for that? Like they called the police. It was a huge deal. So there's a cop knock on my door, and I'm like 11. I'm like, "Hi, Mr. Police Officer." And he was like, "You Aidan?" "Yeah." "Did I do something?" He's like, "Yeah, I have to go back to school, get in the car." And the cop was great about it. He thought it was pretty funny, I think. But like, they do not need cops to like hunt down 11-year-olds.
Well, stuff happens. I'm retired from the NYPD. I had a funny call once. This little kid. You get when you leave. I don't know. This doesn't probably happen anymore, but a regular phone, a landline phone.
Yeah.
You ever seen one of those?
I'm 19. I wasn't born yesterday.
When you leave them off the hook.
Yeah.
A certain amount of time, it auto dials 911.
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah. So, we go to this person's apartment. Oh, like, hello. They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, we got a 911 call because your phone was off the hook. They're like, well, we didn't call 911. They're looking around, and they had a young, I don't know how old he was. He was old enough to be like walking around, and he knew he did something bad. He just started crying, just tearing immediately, and it was pretty funny. We went and talked to the kid though, like it's okay, you know, you're not in trouble, but just leave the phone on the hook because otherwise, if you think it's an emergency. And he just saw the uniform and started crying immediately.
So when I was a kid, I thought cops were like, and I still think I thought cops were like the coolest thing, right? Like a lot of the whole things like people like being like, screw, like I don't, it doesn't sit well with me a lot of time, but not gonna talk too much about that. But like, so whenever I saw a cop, I was like, oh my god, there's a cop, hi, and all the cops where I was, right, they all loved it. Like when a little kid came up to them, they'd always be like, yeah, and they'd always be really nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of like, I don't know, and like, but so when a cop came, I was like, oh, this is cool. And he was like, no, this is bad, but honestly, this is not the end of the world. He was a great guy.
Yeah. Policing has changed since
Yeah.
all these cameras and video cameras and stuff like that, and you can't
Well, it's everything's changed because of video cameras. Like
like
I had a friend, right? So I played football in high school, right? Like pretty much everyone. And there was a senior and a freshman, right? And they're like kind of messing around, right? And there's a video camera right there. And it did not look good.
yeah.
If you could hear it, they were laughing. You could not hear it. It looked like the kid was crying.
Yeah.
And it became a huge deal. But like,
It's optics. That's what you used to call it. And like what is it? It doesn't matter what happened. It's like what
that's
is it?
how it looked.
I get there's so many things I can think of, man. Like if it was on camera, like it would have looked bad, a certain way.
Wait, what's that movie where you had the officer trying to, where the guy who was allergic to bees, and you had the officer trying to like swat the bee? There's a movie I remember seeing. It was some really bad comedy about like, and the cop trying to swat a bee, right? And it just looked really bad, right? And you couldn't see the bee in the video.
Yeah.
But then in the court at the end, a bee goes near the guy, and the guy goes, "Oh my god, a bee!" and like freaks out,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Oh, this is actually a bee."
Yeah.
Like it, and I was like, "Oh my god."
I mean, another big problem is too, there's lots of times as a police officer, we have to use force,
Yeah,
and it just, it just, I guess to the public, it just never seems to look good. I mean, when you're a police officer, someone broke the law, and you tell them, okay, we'll turn around and place your hands behind your back, and they say no. Well, now you have to apply force.
yeah,
Like if they're not applying the verbal commands, you use force, and it just it just doesn't look good.
and
Because like you got to make the first move sometimes too. Like it's like, well, he
yeah,
didn't hit the cop. It's like he didn't hit the cop, but like he's not. The cops got to bring him to jail, and he's not listening. Like
yeah. And I feel like the other thing is like it's like everything else. Like there are some cops where like it goes too far. Like there's some bad like, but there's so many more good cops. Like I don't know. I feel like people look at like one incident and they blame everyone. You know what I'm saying?
I think because now of the video policing, the
Yeah,
videotaping of policing, and people seeing cops using force, the public does not like it. They just don't like cops beating on someone.
yeah,
And legally, they're entitled to, if
Yeah.
certain parameters, but regardless, people just tend to not like it. And there's a simple way to fix the problem. It's like it's training, and the training for most cops is like you go to the police academy. They have like one day of like boxing, and that's it.
Okay.
Like one day of like arm bars or something like that. Like, listen, we got out of the academy. No one remembered that stuff. When you got to
Yeah.
fight with somebody, it was just a street fight.
Yeah.
Armed, we were just swinging. And and that's not what people want anymore. And what people want and like is a more jujitsu style of fighting where you can grab someone, hold someone down, and get them handcuffed.
Yeah.
Because like the old style policing and like the way when they don't treat you, if they don't train you how to fight and you have to take someone down, you have like your tools on your belt, right? Like if someone doesn't have a gun or a knife, well, you're not going to shoot them. Or you're going to pull your nightstick out and you're going to start whacking them until they submit.
Yeah.
It looks horrible on the news.
Yeah.
It looks horrible. But are they right? Like with the whole Rodney King thing, right? All those cops, they wound up being cleared in the end because the guy was resisting arrest. Oh, did it look horrible? It looked insanely horrible. But
Yeah.
you got to be put in that situation, man. I mean, you're a big dude too, so it would be easier for you too, right? And it was kind of easy for me too. But take just an average person,
Yeah.
165 pounds. He's out on the street. Some guy's on PCP, and he just punched his girlfriend in the face.
Yeah.
Put him in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Sounds like a ton of fun.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I'm glad I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. And also, I think so I was never a cop, right? But like when I look at like the good parts of it that I can imagine, I feel like are going away. Because like I think the fun part about a job like that would be like a kid running up to you being like, "Cops are my heroes" or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Not
Like
anymore.
you don't see that. Like
parents tell you that the kids that the cops are bad.
Yeah.
And the one thing I didn't like, people would want to come into the precinct and have us show the kids where the cells are and tell them that's where they're going to go if they're bad. I didn't do it. I never liked it. I was like, no. I was like, you teach your kid not to be bad. I was like, don't pin that on me and make me look like a bad guy. Like I'm the bad guy who's going to get him when he's bad.
Yeah. No, that's.
People would do that all the time. It was a very common thing.
Also, unless like I remember my mom threatened. This was funny. This was back in the day, right? It was like we had house laws, right?
Yeah.
And mom said if you break the house laws, you can go to jail.
Yeah.
And she was joking around, right? I don't think she thought we were going to take it seriously. And one of them was eat your vegetables. So I'm a triplet, right? So my brother didn't eat his vegetables. And my brother goes, "You're going to go to jail." My brother was like, just freaked out, like, my life is. And it was the funniest thing. Until mom was like, I don't want to like say, no, I made that up.
Yeah.
Because this is working. But also like, so she just gave me like, "Oh, you have a second chance at your vegetables." So he got more vegetables.
Yeah, that probably mentally scarred you somewhat. Don't worry, you'll get over it one day.
No, it was so funny though. But yeah, so that was. So I can't blame my mom for that because there's 3 of me, and I know as a kid I was terrible.
Yeah, the triplets. That's got to be tough. Did you have more kids?
There's an older sister.
Yeah, triplets. That's.
Wait, but here's the fun one, right? So she has a. So in high school, right, she had a all-state football player, a all-state, and an all-state wrestler. Can you imagine that at the same time?
That's a lot of practices to go to.
No, we all walked home.
Yeah.
We weren't very far from our school, but like you think of all the shit as like an all-state linebacker and an all-state wrestler. Like think about how many like dumb fights that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like it was just so dumb. But no, I love my brothers. I know some. My roommate, right? He's a twin, and he doesn't talk to his twin like at all, really. But I don't really. I don't know. I think so many people like. I don't know. It's just something I can't imagine. Like you know what I'm saying, like
This is
it's
one of your brothers? They thought you don't talk to them?
no. I talk to my brother. My roommate, he's a twin, right?
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't talk to his twin. And I don't understand. Like I just can't imagine that.
That's weird.
He also doesn't have like the best relationship with like his mom and his dad though. So I don't know. I have a good relationship with all my family. I think family's important. I think some people kind of forget that sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely. I talk to people about it with powerlifting because like like one of the guys I talked to on my podcast, he's in like the wood floor business. He puts wood floors down. He's got a couple kids. He's married. And he's got it, and he fits powerlifting, into his life.
Yeah.
And it gets difficult. It's a real easy, in college and stuff like that. Maybe,
Oh, yeah. I have nothing else to do.
yeah, when you get married, you got kids, and you got a job, and trying to fit powerlifting into that, it becomes,
Yeah.
a huge, a huge issue. And like, if you got a spouse that's like doesn't support the lifting, like I think it's even harder. Like I got it easy because my wife lifts also. So,
Yeah.
actually, I gotta wrap this up. It's almost pre-workout time.
Oh, all right. See you, man.
Listen,
It's great talking to you.
good talking to you. And just message me when you're gonna have a meet coming up. All right, I'm coming.
Yeah, I will.
Have a good day.
All right.